Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen a breakdown on the cryptocurrency markets, a devastating breakdown, a breakdown that has now had a major impact on the macro clarity that we have going forward, okay? Regardless of what happened next, even if we go up next or if we go down next, if we go sideways, this will be felt for years to come as we struggle to maintain the present macro trends, right? The ones that survived, and rebuild ones that are broken. That's the brutal reality here. Whatever's occurred, whatever the justification for this occurring is, whether it be manipulation, whether it be regular price action, it's not regular price action. If it was regular price action, we'd be in the macro trends, okay? Whatever the justification is, any of the narratives you can point to, the structure here that has been broken is irreparable. That's the fact, right? Not only on Bitcoin, but also going through on the total 3, breaking down from a very, very strong and very, very indicative, okay, pattern, the 5-step pattern, that suggested a parabolic bull market with an altcoin season. That was what suggested the altcoin season with parabolic bull market. Broken, gone, just like that. Unless this is a deviation, which seems very unlikely to me given how far we've dropped, this is brutal. Now, the question is, are we going to maintain the 4-year cycle? There's a kind of a theory that some of the bulls have right now, the macro bulls, that is basically we've gone downwards here in order to get back on track with the 4-year cycle, which we previously deviated quite significantly from. That is an interesting argument. I don't see it as entirely impossible. I'm going to look into it today. But I still think that even if that is the case, the damage that has occurred here is quite major. Not major in the sense, let's not get it twisted, not major in the sense that we're guaranteed to go downwards from here to 30K. No, it's a different type of major. It's major in the way that our predictability and our clarity has decreased significantly. And of course, in order to have predictability, you need clarity, right? We don't have the clarity, we can't predict things. We can't predict things, we can't click buy and sell confidently. That's what's been damaged here. So we're going to look into all of that today. Going to look into the state of Bitcoin, the state of the altcoin market, the state of Ethereum, the state of the 4-year cycle, and what exactly did break, why it happened, look into the possibility for manipulation. There's a lot of things to discuss today. It's a little bit of a cluster video. I'm going to be honest with you. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. We're probably going to go for 20 or 25 minutes, just rattling out information. I highly recommend you watch the whole thing, though. There's a lot to discuss here. So before we do that, I do need to check out a couple of things first. First and foremost, we've seen a cataclysmic drop in the market, but during this period of time, our VIP group on Telegram has come out on top. We've got 6 separate trades, all of which reaching profits up to 256% from 131% profit. Excellent trades there on VIP. So VIPs have actually profited in the market environment we've seen in the last 24 hours, and you have just 3 days remaining to take advantage of that mid-year VIP sale. If you want to profit like that during periods of death in the market, you can get on VIP there. We've got a VIP sale for 3 days left. Check it out. We've also got the Bitcoin and BingX exchanges, which, by the way, are the exchanges our VIP members use, though those are some of the best exchanges in the cryptocurrency market. They're global non-KYC, so there's no KYC restrictions, I should say. And you get a 5,500 USDT bonus for signing up using my referral link down below on Bitcoin, and a 4,000 USDT bonus with my referral link for BingX, a chance to win those bonuses. And then if you don't get the bonuses, regardless, you'll get a 15% trading fee discount for life on either exchange. So check out my links down below. Sign up, takes literally 30 seconds. You get a chance to win that free money with my link, and you're also helping out the channel quite a lot by doing that. And again, VIP 3 days remaining. Let's get into the content here. So where do we stand now? And that's the question. Now that we've lost these levels and we've lost massive amounts of macro clarity, what do we do here, right? And that's a question that's very difficult to answer, because I'll tell you right now, and look, a lot of analysts who are believers in the 4-year cycle, believes in the regular macro trends of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency will agree with me. We don't have much clarity anymore, right? We have to rely solely on basic TA and basic macroeconomic data. The problem there as well, there's more problems, is that the macroeconomic data is not really being insightful to what's going on for Bitcoin right now. This has been one of the problems in the entire drop downwards. So we've seen a drop downwards on Bitcoin from June 6th. That drop downwards has gone around 24%. But in the same period of time, every single other asset class, right, including traditional markets, which is basically a fundamental driver of cryptocurrency price action, right? Bitcoin is heavily correlated to this chart, the S&P 500. Let's just show you real quick the correlation. It's been the case ever since 2020. The correlation really has been quite undeniable. So let's go ahead and chuck this on the logarithmic scale. We'll pin it to the right-hand side. We can see, look at the correlation. There's Bitcoin in orange, and there's the S&P in candlesticks in white and gray. And you can see just the correlation is unreal. A massive correlation on every, there's slight periods of deviation, of course, that happens. That specifically happens when there's a narrative that is driving Bitcoin price and cryptocurrency price, but not the traditional market price. So for example, during the ETF period, we had deviations because the ETFs only affected Bitcoin and crypto. They didn't affect traditional markets. But you can see now, just in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks, just the deviation has been unreal. We've seen very clearly bullish price action on the S&P 500 and broader traditional markets because the macroeconomic data has been so good, because we're heading into interest rate cuts, and yet Bitcoin has dropped downwards 25%. And, I suppose there are some bearish narratives. There's Mt. Gox, there's Germany selling, there's some bearish narratives, but these narratives haven't been around throughout the entirety of that correction, right? The deviation existed before these bearish narratives started to take hold. And so that, to me, screams manipulation. And I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, of course you're saying manipulation because your predictions turned out to be incorrect. Yeah, I understand why you'd think that. It makes sense, especially when you come into watching a YouTube video with the mindset that all crypto YouTubers are scammers. And again, I don't really blame you for having that mindset. But, address the actual argument. The actual argument is very, very clear. Massive deviation between S&P 500 and Bitcoin, where there's generally not very long periods of deviations at all. And not only a massive deviation, but a massive deviation at a very critical period of time, at a very, very critical level that we needed to hold. Let's just go over that one more time. Again, 13-year ascending support line, a level that doesn't just break up and down willy-nilly very often at all. It's done it a couple of times, but not really. The fact that we're below that level now is very concerning. Again, bull market support band. Guys, go back to prior bull markets. See them, just watch the prior bull markets. These levels do not break without significant downside price action or significant deviation to the historical trend. They just don't break in general, really, in bull markets. You look at 2017, 2016, bull market support band held the entirety of the way upwards. It only broke at the end of the bull run. And you look at, again, 2016, 2017, pi cycle central lines in green and yellow, again, do not break until the bear market begins. It's actually the same story even in 2020. Even though in 2020 we had the drop downwards here in 2020, in the middle of the cycle, we still respected those lines. As soon as we got back above them, we respected them. And as soon as we broke down below them, we resistance support flipped and entered a bear market, right? Here's the issue now that we face. And I'm going to stop dwelling on what's happened and just show you what's the real problem is. The problem is now that we don't have the macro clarity, but the problem is it's not like what it was before. Because before, in previous bull markets, in previous regular cyclical structures, it's like, oh, if we broke down below these levels, the bull market would be over and we'd enter a bear market. That's what the assumption would be in prior cycles. But we can't really say that anymore. We can't even say it's a bear market because we didn't see a regular bull market at all, like not even close to a regular bull market. So how the hell are we going to see a regular bear market? For what reason would we assume there's going to be a regular bear market that lasts 1 year and bottoms out as per the cycle? It's not going to bottom out as per the cycle. The cycle's gone, right? The cycle is not acting out normally at all. Now, is it gone? Are we just coming back, to correct on track with it? Because Bitcoin, of course, is ahead of schedule. It moved about 250 days ahead of schedule. And so we could be seeing a come down in price action to give Bitcoin time to get back on track with the 4-year cycle. That is a possible scenario. It's impossible to prove. There's no way to prove it. And given the fact that we're seeing we saw Bitcoin hold on to these important levels earlier than expected and now break them below. Those levels were fundamental components of us predicting the end of a cycle. So even if we do get back on track with the 4-year cycle and it starts to play out normally, the problem is it's going to be much harder to predict the actual top of the 4-year cycle in terms of price action because a lot of the indicators that we used to do that before have now become less perfect, right? They're not precise anymore. They've been now invalidated. That if this is just a deviation before we go upwards, those indicators have less validity because we saw that deviation. So they're less reliable. You need extra data. So overall, regardless of what happens here, here's the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario Another thing, by the way, we've dropped below an incredibly important monthly chart support line that lined up with, or was a relative representation of these yellow lines that divide bull market and bear market price action historically. Again, we've dropped below that line, so it's just another representation of the trends that are fundamental to the Bitcoin macro structure that have just been completely decimated here. I wanted to say though that the worst case scenario here is that we basically go downwards into some sort of bear market. We won't know what that bear market looks like, which would make it ultra threatening and scary because we don't have any of the, again, macro structures to kind of give us any sort of basis to what to expect. The best case scenario is that we are just seeing a delay before we go back on track of the 4-year cycle. But even in that best case scenario, we still lose a lot of the fundamental macro trends that allow us to make solid macro decisions within the 4-year cycle regardless, right? I know I'm just throwing out the word macro every 4 seconds, but let me explain what I mean there. Even in the best case scenario, right, we lose the predictive utility of things like the bull market support band, of things like the pi cycle lines. We lose the predictive utility of things like the 5-step historical structure on the total cryptocurrency market cap. That gives us a very good indication of where altcoin season will start, what altcoin season will look like. We lose that. That's gone now because we've broken below the levels that need to break down to invalidate those trends. So even if we are just seeing a kind of pullback in order to get back on track with that 4-year cycle, we're still going to see a very difficult cycle to trade and navigate, and that's the best case scenario. So whatever way you look at Bitcoin and crypto right now, it's not looking good. And it's not that it's not looking good because it's guaranteed to go down. It's actually not guaranteed to go down at all, really. What is guaranteed is we have a lot more uncertainty in this market than we did 3 days ago. That's what's guaranteed. So don't go sitting here expecting a regular 1-year long bear market with a bottom out at the end of the year like usual. There's no reason to expect that anymore, right? Right now, we are in the unknown. We are in the unknown. This is exactly what I feared, and this is exactly what I feared when I saw the ETF stuff happening. When I saw people hyping up for ETFs and the market pumping up so much so quickly in such a short period of time for ETFs, I was saying the whole time, this is not a good thing. Don't get too excited about this. Why? Here's my thing. Why the hell in anyone's right mind would you want BlackRock involved in cryptocurrency? Like, where is that going to get you? Not anywhere good. And also, the price moving so fast was creating a deviation from the historical macro trends that we relied on in order to have any sort of predictive capabilities. So I've always said, the price moving isn't what makes you money. What makes you money is being able to predict those moves so you can buy and sell in time for them to happen. It's all well and good Bitcoin ETFs driving the price upwards 100% in 3 months, like happened 130% in 3 months. What's not good is losing the predictability. That means we don't know how to trade that. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. We're seeing the result of an overvaluation of the Bitcoin price so early in the cycle. And now we are dropping down below the macro structures that were dragged upwards too high because of that deviation. So realistically, if you want to blame something for this collapse, you can go ahead and blame. There's a lot of factors, and some of the factors I personally don't know, right? A lot of people don't know what they are. But one of the factors certainly is ETFs. That is one of the worst things that's happened to cryptocurrency. And it's so sad because it's disguised as one of the best things. And a lot of people in crypto were begging for them because they're so greedy and they just wanted the price to go upwards without looking at the bigger picture and seeing that not only does this open up massive regulatory pathways in crypto, it also just destroys the macro structures. I feel like I've said the word macro structures like 15,000 times today. But anyway, let's move forward a little bit. So do we have support? Yes. Okay. On an immediate term, TA level, we have support. We have support on the total 3 around this price region. Okay. At around 500 billion to 520 billion. We have support on Ethereum at this price region. In fact, Ethereum has met its equal lows it made in April. We have support on Bitcoin between around 53 to 52K, as you can see from that little tick there. And also if you scroll back, you can see it. We're going to dive into all these things a bit more tomorrow. So what have I done with my portfolio? Well, as I told you yesterday, my invalidation zone for altcoins specifically was a breakdown of this blue line. So as soon as we broke down from that blue line, I sold the vast majority of my altcoins, and I sold them at a profit because we were luckily enough buying back in the October and November region. That is the first time I publicly posted about altcoins on this YouTube channel. for years, and I said this is a time to be accumulating. So a lot of my coins were bought down there. Of course, I bought more along the way, but for the most part, I sold at a nice profit. Obviously, quite disappointing given the drop downwards from the highs, but that's what you got to do. You got to cut your wins while you still have time. And of course, the massive drop down from that blue line has validated the fact that that blue line was something you needed to be watching, and we just dropped so swiftly from there. So we cut our losses on altcoins at that blue line, and on Bitcoin, I did not sell, believe it or not. I didn't sell on Bitcoin for various reasons regarding Australian taxes and the requirement to hold for 1 year for a 50% tax discount. I couldn't justify selling Bitcoin at that price region, but all my altcoins, I've gotten rid of them. I don't believe this is a safe time to be holding altcoins. I genuinely don't. Again, the only reason why I thought it was ever a safe time, safe is the wrong word, a profitable time, with a profitable risk-reward ratio to be holding altcoins is because I thought we were following this 5-step macro structure, which we were following. And on the beginning of step 3, or just before step 3, that's when I started buying. But now that step 4 has broken down instead of breaking upwards, there's no reason to really be holding, because the whole idea was that after step 4, we would see a parabolic bull market with an altcoin season. Of course, we don't really expect that anymore because we're broken below the macro levels that pertained step 4. So altcoins, I think, are completely gambling right now. Plain and simple, I think the altcoin market is gambling. I look at the altcoin structures across the board. I look at all these popular coins, and I just see most of them below, if not their October 2023 lows, even their bear market lows from 2022. I don't see how these coins can recover. There's not many altcoins I look at right now and think, oh, that looks like a good buy. There's really not. Like, I can name 3, and I wouldn't touch them anyway because of the broader market environment. I genuinely think most altcoins right now look absolutely terrible, as is shown by the altcoin market cap chart breaking down so viciously. So I'm not touching altcoins here. I don't suggest touching altcoins here. I think it's absolute gambling. Like, literally go to the casino if you want to do that. As for Bitcoin, I do see a little bit of a stronger case for still being in Bitcoin. It's obviously a period of uncertainty. It's not a period where you're going to be saying it's low risk. It's certainly not low risk. It's actually very high risk. But I don't really see, just based on my TA and the logic that I'm using, I don't really see how we would see a traditional bear market starting here, given what's going on with the broader economic environment. It doesn't really make too much sense to me. And for that reason, I'm willing to hold Bitcoin for a little bit more. And of course, I've got the tax reasons, personal tax reasons for holding Bitcoin here as well. But I'm personally not willing to sell Bitcoin due to that breakdown. I think the Bitcoin is, and given the fact of where I bought it as well, look, there's a lot of context to these kind of decisions. I can't really make broad statements. What I can give you is my personal scenario. My personal scenario is my first Bitcoin buy was down here at 16 or 17,000, okay? I was buying Bitcoin from 16 to 17,000 publicly on this YouTube channel. I literally told everyone to do it, all the way up to around 24K. Those are my Bitcoin prices. I've got so much leadway. I've got so much unrealized profits on Bitcoin. Again, the reason why I'm waiting a little bit more as well is that factor is because some of my buys were over here in this last little price region or upon the breakout here. And so it hasn't been quite a year yet. And so I have to wait a little bit longer to get the tax discounts on those ones. But again, my Bitcoin prices are very, very low. I've got a lot of leadway. I don't personally consider unrealized profits as part of my net worth. So I don't really personally consider this my money yet. And for that reason, I'm willing to kind of hold here and just see what happens with the market, considering as well that I've de-risked so heavily on the altcoin side of my portfolio and even on the Ethereum side of my portfolio, which I've completely cut out, by the way, as well. Even though Ethereum is on this macro support zone, Ethereum is the leader of the altcoin market, and I see the altcoin market is decimated right now. And so I'm definitely not really too interested in Ethereum either, to be quite honest with you. So that's my situation right now. And look, you know, there's a lot of discussion to be had here, and there's a lot of in-depth short-term price action we can delve into. I'm definitely going to do that tomorrow in the following days. But fundamentally, I just wanted to get those points across. The points are, we've broken down. We are in a period of uncertainty now, unfortunately. There are some techniques we can use to navigate this uncertainty. I'm going to go through them in future videos. But there's no way around this being a bad thing that could have happened to the markets. Even if crypto goes up from here, this will still have repercussions that last the entirety of, you know, the next few years at a minimum. We need to reestablish macro trends now because we've lost a lot of them. And just for the final time, just so it's not misconstrued at all, me saying that this is terrible, this is really bad, is not the same thing as me being bearish and thinking the price is going to go down to 10K. It's not the same thing. I'm saying it's bad and terrible because we have a lack of clarity now. We have a lack of predictive clarity. Now, that's why it's bad. You know, if I could go back in time to the 74K top, I can proudly say and confidently say that I would have made the exact same decisions I made now. Given the data at that period of time, there is nothing I did then that I wouldn't do again. I'm completely happy and content with the decisions and the public information I put out in that price region. I believe that was the best possible, those were the best possible moves I could have made at the time. As for things like the 2-month candle, you know, people saying, oh, you should have listened to the 2-month candle. I've addressed that so many times. Just because something happens, it doesn't mean one of the, you know, the things that you can point to makes it a justifiable decision to take at the time, right? Let me explain that more. The 2-month candle, all right, was a real thing. But for macro confirmation on something like that, you need to see macro confirmation, right? You need to see a breakdown before you start selling your assets because of a candle. I can look at any time frame on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I can look at the 7.35 month chart and see a candle formation. That doesn't mean you buy, it doesn't mean you sell. It means you look at that, you use it as evidence, and when the breakout occurs, that's when you make your action. Regardless of whether I thought the 2-month candle was real, fake, or whatever it was, I would have sold at the same price region because that is the price region where the macro breakdown needed to occur. And to clarify, I think the 2-month candle is a bunch of baloney. And I've really discussed that very extensively. If you want my opinion on that, you can go watch my prior video I made on it. As you can see over here, 7 days ago, I explained that very, very easily. It's got a negatively correlated success rate, 2-month candle structures. But anyway, moving forward from that, you know, one of the things that makes this even more, I suppose, strange, this price region, this price action we've seen in the last couple of months or few months, is the fact that no one really at all predicted the top at 73.8K. Like even 5.3, speaking of Crypto Career University, even the 5.3 formula, that predicted a 79K top. You know, we were 10% away from that. And that's a very precise formula. So no formula, no indicator, nothing. No one and nothing said the top was going to be there at 73K. It's very, very strange what we've seen in this cycle. I don't even know if you can call it a cycle. It was a very, very strange price action just altogether. And again, going back to my original argument, I believe strongly that ever since ETFs, there has been a very large amount of price manipulation, price suppression, things like that. And I think that's really evident in the last couple of months of price action with this deviation, Bitcoin and the S&P. So say what you will about that, but that's my personal opinion. What can we do next? We're going to discuss all about tomorrow. But yeah, that's just an update of what's going on and my current thoughts on the situation. I hope you guys find it useful. I'm predicting that the comment section is going to be an absolute cesspit today. So we'll see what happens there. But guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Go ahead and check out, by the way, during this period of time, during this cataclysmic drop, the VIP group has managed to make some really good profits, believe it or not. We've had 6 trades that activated during the last 24 hours. And as you can see on the screen, all of them were up very significantly. We've got a VIP sale right now. It's lasting 3 more days from the time of filming this video. So you've got 3 days to check it out, guys. Go ahead and do that. We've got the Bitunix and BingX exchanges. Bitunix, you can sign up with my referral link down below and get a 5,500 USDT reward for signing up, literally. A chance to win that. The same story on BingX, and it's a $4,000 reward. So literally free cash here, a chance to win free cash for signing up. And if you don't win the free cash, you get a 15% trading fee discount for lifetime on your account on any buys and sells you make on trading fees in general. So you're winning either way, and you're also getting access to good exchanges, non-KYC, never been hacked before, all this stuff with my referral link down below. You're helping out the channel and you're helping yourself by getting on a good exchange. So check them out down below. And then finally, the VIP group on Telegram. We trade, sorry, not the VIP group, the Crypto Academy, I should say, the educational course. You can find the website right here. A biography of what we're offering on that course. As you can see, a little blurb. I made it with Megawell Crypto. We made it in 2022. It's been very successful since then. We've got over 250 members in that course, learning, educating themselves on how to trade, etc. We've got a sale right now. Bull Market Sale, it's named. Might have to change the name of that one. And yeah, so it's a discounted price for a limited period of time. Extremely limited now that I've picked up on that. So go ahead and get in there while you can. Guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.